Hello folks, welcome to episode 48 of our Star Ocean 4 Let's Play walkthrough series. And the good news is that we are finally going to be leaving the planet of Roak today, after being here, from my perspective anyway, literally for months. So it'll be nice to get away from here. The bad news is we'll be coming straight back because there's an optional dungeon we can do once we've reached our next destination. So sorry about that guys, but hey, we do want to get everything done that this game has to offer. Before we go any further today, let's just have a very brief update on what it is we've done. Since coming to the planet of Roak, we've obviously done a lot of quests, we've done a lot of levelling, we've got lots of skill points, we've opened the Colosseum, we've done one of the game's trickier story dungeons with the Purgatorium, so we've made a lot of progress on our visit here. I'm just going to briefly show you my skills. I did do this in the last episode as well. But as you can see, just pause if you want to see each character's skills. As you can see, I've maxed everything out that each character has learned here, and I haven't given HP boost or some of the expensive skills to every single character because I would be here all day trying to level those up. But as time goes on, I will give other characters different skills, battle skills and what have you, and I will show you that as I do so. But as you can also see, we've got a whole ton of party skill points, 1,700 plus, which is going to be useful because we're about to recruit another party member. So hopefully you guys are roughly where I'm at, though this game is very grind heavy, you might not be. It's not a huge deal if you're slightly less powerful than my party currently is, especially if you're just doing story content, then that won't be a problem. But there are some tricky parts coming up in terms of optional stuff and what have you, so I would advise trying to get your team as powerful as you are literally able to do with the current patience level that you're experiencing. But anyway, without any further ado, let's head into the counters here. And what we want to do is go straight across here to the right and set a course. So we'll go to launch, and we want to go back to Aeos, and then we'll get some story and some private actions we're going to be able to trigger as well.
Main engines operating normally. We've safely exited Roak's atmosphere.
Raimi, can you put Roak up on the screen?
Sure. Somehow it really does look like my home. I wonder if maybe I was born there after all.
You can go back if you want. Losing one person won't make much of a difference.
No, I'm not going back. I'm going with Vetch. And besides, what are you doing here anyway?
We're all friends now. Why wouldn't I be here?
But Miss Muria, what about your ship? Did you not leave it on Roak?
That's Mrs. And my ship is on autopilot back to EN2. It'll be fine without me.
Sari. Bye-bye.
I wonder what Sarah's doing now.
Me too. I wish we could have said a proper goodbye to her. Sarah! We'll be back someday!
Until we meet again, Miss Sarah.
Goodbye, Sarah! Oh. You mean me? You're always so silly, Sarah. What? Now that I think about it, I've been here all along. I guess we can't part ways now, can we? Hello again, everyone.
Wait a second, Sarah, what are you doing on the Calnus?
I'm pretty sure I never said goodbye, right? All I said at the Purgatorium was, see you later.
I guess you did.
I went and talked to Miss Elena, so, it's later now, isn't it? Yay! It's Sari. Sarah! We're all back together!
What do you think, Edge?
What do I think about what? It's too late to turn back now.
It would indeed mean a considerable loss of time.
So this is our world, Roak. It's beautiful, isn't it? To tell you the truth, there was a dream I used to have a lot, long before I met all of you. In my dream, I saw Mr. Asmodeus destroy Roak. When I told Miss Elena about it, she said she had received an augury about the same thing. She said that people would arrive from beyond the Star Ocean and protect Roak. She told me that my destiny would be to join with those people and help them on their journey. Isn't that a nice story? But actually, none of that even matters now, because I want to travel with you anyway. So, can I ask if you would please take me with you? When I'm with you all, I feel like I can fly.
A lot of things happened before we came to Roak. Painful, sad things. And those feelings are still with me. But I feel like my time on Roak has healed me just a bit. It's thanks to my friends, Miss Elena, and you, Sarah. It's thanks to you as well. I think I'll probably still be making life difficult for my crew. But if that's all right with you, you're welcome to come, Sarah.
Of course it is. After all, we're friends too, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. Thanks a lot, Sarah.
Oh no, thank you.
So we're really getting hints strongly now, aren't we, that something's going on with FaZe and all is not right with him. But hey, we've got a new party member in Sarah. That means new skills to learn. It means new aspects have become available for us at item creation, but I won't speak too much about that until we actually get to see it for ourselves. Right, so we need to sort out room assignments. I would highly recommend, because of how the private actions are going to work, that you make sure you have FaZe and Limmel together for this particular assignment here, okay? That's actually very, very important. Otherwise, you're going to lock yourself out of certain private actions. However, if you've not been following my walkthrough, it's possible that you can't put FaZe and Limmel together, because if Limmel hates FaZe, she won't go with him. So I'm going to assume that that isn't the case. But if it is, you'll just have to skip the private actions that we do where they are in the same room, or that are available when they're in the same room. So it looks like Sarah's going to go with Bacchus, which is absolutely fine. We're going to click done on that. And we're going to start speaking to people to get the private actions done. But before we do private actions, let's go and have a look at the item creation. In fact, before we do item creation, let's have a look here at the skills that Sarah brings to the table. So she comes into the party here at level 36. So quite a bit lower level than the rest of my party members, but then at the end of the day, we have been doing quite a bit of grinding, so that's to be expected. So you can see her ability for the item creation is called Synthesis, and we'll talk a little bit more about it shortly. But one thing to note here while we're doing skills is that Synthesis can't be leveled, right? So it is a level 1 skill only, so we don't have to worry about putting points into that one. Now there's a lot of other skills, of course, that Sarah has, so focus first by using her individual skill points as always, and then you can go ahead and use party skill points if need be to max out anything she doesn't have. And also you might want to give her some other abilities as well, as per usual, like chain combos and any battle skills that you want her to use.
Is there perhaps something stuck on my face?
No, it's a bird, huh? You really do have some unusual tastes, Edge.
Welch, do you think I'm some kind of deviant? Anyway, Sarah's not a bird. She's featherfolk.
It's a big ol' universe, isn't it? So then, can you, like, ride on her back and go zipping across the sky?
Unfortunately not, I'm afraid.
Oh? Why not? Pourquoi?
Well, it's rather embarrassing to admit, but I'm afraid I can't fly.
You can't fly? Look at those big, beautiful wings of yours! What a waste!
It really is, isn't it? Oh, how I'd love to be able to fly freely.
What do you think, Birdie?
Oh my goodness! You're flying in the air even though you don't have any wings to flap.
What, did you mess with the hologram or something? She's totally innocent, Welch. That's not very... Sarah?
Upsy daisy! Oh my! How strange!
What are you trying to do, Birdie?
Well, I thought that I might be able to fly too if I got onto this thing. But it seems I still can't. How very strange indeed.
Sarah, that's not for flying. Welch kind of played a trick on you.
Insolence!
Hey! What's the matter?
Do you truly believe flight is so simple a matter? It is only with persistent effort that man may learn to ply the skies!
Persistent effort?
How much brutal training do you think I had to endure to get where I am today? You are far too inexperienced. Start over from scratch.
I sincerely apologize. I suppose I must not have made a good enough effort.
Very good. Realizing that brings you one step closer to flying. Persistence is the key.
I understand, Master.
I can let that slide if it really did encourage her, I guess.
Okay, so one thing I will mention to you is that as well as maxing out Sarah's skills, I also taught her and maxed out the HP skill, the one that gives you 10,000 more health, and that ate a lot of my skill points, unfortunately. Hopefully I'll have enough for the item creation here in a moment to discover a lot of new recipes. And I also gave her the chain combos, which is just as important as it is for the other characters. So let's just have a brief look here at what synthesis is, which is her skill for item creation. And what it basically is, before we invent new recipes, it's a great ability, and it allows you, if we go to synthesis here, to actually add factors or stats onto your current weapons and armour. So as you can imagine, it's very, very powerful indeed. And later on in the game, you're going to be using Sarah's synthesis with really powerful ingredients that you find in dungeons and stuff to make some of the most powerful equipment that goes literally beyond your wildest dreams right now. But we'll talk about that in due course. But rest assured, if you want to have a practice with it and start practicing, then it's probably a good idea to do so. Using her synthesis, you can add all kinds of stats to your equipment, such as increased fall bonuses, increased experience bonuses. You can make a great set of experience gear from this point. You can add things like increased chance of inflicting critical hits or status ailments. You can have extra melee attacks going off each time a person attacks with a weapon. There's just a whole host of powerful stuff that you can do. Some add special effects, such as the ones I just mentioned. Some just flat out increase the stats that weapon gives or armor gives. But of course, we do, now that we have a new character, have to go ahead and invent a whole bunch of new recipes. And in particular, the one recipe that's really worth talking about right now is the Lil vending machine number 2, which will give you access to even more powerful items that you can purchase on the counter. So if you've been following along, then you'll no doubt have the Lil vending machine number 1 already. But we can actually go ahead and upgrade that. So you will need to have everybody that we're using here item creation skills maxed out, and we're going to go for Edge, Barkus, and of course, what are you doing up there? And of course Sarah herself, and that should eventually teach us that item. Now I will mention that with Sarah you're going to learn literally hundreds of new recipes. There's Lil vending machine number 2. And 95 or whatever it was party skill points just probably isn't going to cut it, unfortunately. So if you've got more skill points, as I said, I spent loads of mine updating her HP boost. I probably should have waited on that, but not to worry. Then you can just go ahead and mix and match her with all the other party members in order to learn just as many recipes as you can. But as I say, there are hundreds and hundreds. So we've got a few items here. There's the Lil vending machine number 2. So we can craft that.
Pretty spectacular, don't you think? Neato! I knew you could.
Under item creation, just go to engineering,
Already know what you want to make?
and there we'll find the Lil vending machine number 2. So we'll go ahead and make that bad boy.
Best of luck now. The deed is done. Use it.
And we can get that installed immediately, but I'm just going to spend a few minutes trying to invent even more recipes between the various different party members here using Sarah. If you pair Sarah with Raimi, you're going to find that you'll be able to invent a lot of pies, and pies are really useful not only for boosting the stats of your party members, but also they're useful for, and look at this, the stamina pie is amazing. If somebody dies in battle, you can actually revive them with 90% health and MP. So very, very useful indeed. But also pies are useful for boosting the stats of your buddies. Think Chocobo Greens in Final Fantasy. And if you're going to concentrate a lot on bunny racing, then you will need to feed them a lot of pies in order to actually, look at that, cures all status ailments, actually, you know, get the most out of those races. So the other thing as well that's worth doing here is pairing Sarah with Miracle. And you can actually create a pretty interesting bangle here. Hopefully, if this works. I think it's actually called like the healing bangle or something. Maybe we have to stick with someone else. Anyway, you'll be able to create the healing bangle, and that constantly restores health in battle. And it's also a great baseline bangle if you want to stick other stats on using synthesis. There's also an MP one as well that you can craft. Okay, I actually got the healing band by using Raimi, Sarah and Miracle in a particular group.
This is pretty spectacular, don't
So you can see it restores 2% of health periodically in battle. It's not a lot, but as I say, it's a great basis actually for adding other synthesis abilities onto that. So we'll just go ahead here and just keep going through the list.
Don't forget to psych yourselves up.
I'm actually doing alright actually with my 90 skill points. The problem is when we start bringing Limmel into it, because Limmel has a lot of cards to learn with Miracle.
Go, go! All finished.
So this could be a while.
I did it.
A few things worth noting to craft then before we go ahead and leave the interface here. The first thing is a weapon called the Mystic Bow. This is probably going to be a great upgrade for you for Raimi, so I'm going to go ahead and craft that. The only item that you are going to require is the Bracteate, or Bracteate, whatever that thing is called. And you get this from the Sandbird battles that we did in a previous episode, which was for an optional quest. But if you didn't do that, or if you didn't get the Bracteate for whatever reason, then rest assured, in the next upcoming dungeon that we do, it's an optional dungeon, we'll be able to actually mine this stuff. So you should have it, but if you don't, you will be able to get it soon. Let's go ahead and create the Mystic Bow here.
Best of luck now. Excellent progress. No problem.
Right, I think that's it from this particular list that I want to talk about. But then if we go down to crafting here,
What are we making?
the Wild Fang Staff is a good starting upgrade for, not for starting upgrade, sorry, it's a good upgrade for Muriel. So we go ahead and create that. And I think there is a starting upgrade we can get for Sarah, depending on how many
Figure it out soon. I don't have all
of those items that I just mentioned that you have. But before we talk about that, the other item actually that's really worth noting is the Slayer's Bangle. Now, you do need Platinum for this one, and again, Bracteat. So you're going to have to make choices depending on how much of that Bracteat you've actually got. But the Slayer's Bangle is fantastic for your melee characters. And what it does is it actually adds a hit chance for each attack that they make. So it's going to allow them to do a lot more damage than by not wearing it. And in fact, I'm going to go ahead and create... Yeah, I said that weird. I was going to say create and craft at the same time. I'm going to go ahead and create one. And we'll give that to whoever it is that we're using melee in battle, usually Edge or Phase or whatever. But it means we won't be able to craft Sarah's weapon, which I was going to do originally, but I would actually prefer that one. Sarah's weapon, I think, is under Smithery, actually. And it's this, the Judgment Spear. No, the Cyclone Spear. That's it. Okay, so you should have the materials for that, depending on what else you've just crafted. So, I don't anymore, unfortunately, but I will again soon. Very briefly, let's just see how synthesis actually works then. So, for example, the item that we created for Raimi a moment ago, which was the Mystic Bow, there it is. You can see at the top it says base item, that's the item we've just selected there. And then additional item is the item we want it to combine with in order to add a factor. Obviously the additional item is going to disappear once you confirm it. So for example, the basic blueberries will give you +2 attack onto the weapon as a stat, which is fairly good. You can actually have a huge variety in some of the stuff that you can add here. For example, strength potion does attack +10, but you can also do MP damage. The thing that should be noted is that HP damage and MP damage only work when the person that has it is attacking with a normal attack, okay, not a skill or a special ability or anything like that. Makes them effectively useless in my opinion in most cases. You got your status effects, some of which also improve or reduce stats to a certain degree. So don't get excited when you see, oh, HP damage +35%. Yeah, it will hardly do anything, unfortunately. But also, as well as the usable items, by the way, you can add symbol cards as the additional item as well. Some of them are really, really powerful as well. For example, you get great stat boosts if you can use the Angel Feather Plus symbol card, but I don't have any at the moment. But also, food that Raimi creates will give you some great stats as well, such as Foal after battle with the blueberry tarts, or custard pies, or rich cheeses, look, if you want intelligence as well. So some great options here for you to look through. I'm not going to go through them all. I'm actually going to use a bit of Oyakodon because a bit of extra experience is never going to hurt. This will only affect the character it's created on mind. But obviously, as I say, if you can add extra experience to a lot of stuff, then that's going to help out with your grinding as you go forward. But that's pretty much how synthesis works. So we'll just move on from there, I think. The only other item that I really want to show you that I've just synthesised is the bangle, because I just wanted to show that you didn't have to only use weapons for this. So if we go to the bangles here, the Slayer's Bangle, which is the one I recommended you make for your melee characters, which adds an extra hit chance per attack. I've just thrown some experience onto that as well. I'm going to go ahead and give that to Edge. But by all means, play about with the synthesis. Obviously, there's a lot of powerful things you can make with it, which is always a bonus. So I haven't changed the vending machine yet. I think we do that from the rooms, don't we? Oh no, it's here. It's here, it's here. We'll go ahead and remove this bad boy. And then we'll put little vending machine number 2 in. And now we can access the extra items that this shop has available for us. Okay, including some extra ingredients as well, so it is worth going through that. But for the sake of the video, let's just get things moving. Right, for the first private action then, we do need to get these sorted now. We're going to go ahead and speak to Limmel here.
Doggy, sit, Kay.
Wow, he really does follow your commands, doesn't he?
Yep, sure does. He's a good boy, Kay. Here, boy, your reward cookie. Huh?
A cat?
Give me back that cookie. That's my doggy's treat, Kay. We gotta catch it. Edgy, come on, Kay.
Huh? Me too?
I know it's in here, Kay.
When could a cat have snuck aboard the Calnus anyway?
Huh? What are you
doing here?
We were just chasing a cat. What are you doing here, Miracle?
Who cares? Did you see a cat, Mary? It's a nasty cookie thief, Kay.
I haven't seen any cats around here.
Let's keep looking, Kay. Come on, doggy.
Well then, I'll be going too.
Hmm?
Okay, so basically then that particular private action will increase affinity for both Limmel and Miracle, as in their affinity with Edge. However, Edge's affinity with Miracle will drop a bit, but overall it is worth doing because you get a raise in total. Right, now we've got a choice. We can either go into Barkus's quarters and speak to him and we'll get a slight affinity raise between Edge and Barkus, or we can head back downstairs and speak to Raimi and Muriel. Now, we can only do one of these private actions, but I recommend doing the ladies one because you'll actually get more overall affinity because it's with 3 characters rather than 2 with just Edge and Barkus. So we're going to go ahead here and speak to these girls, see what they've got to say for themselves. There are going to be some secret ways of triggering some private actions here as well, guys, so I wouldn't advise skipping ahead and just speaking to everyone, or you could end up missing out on some affinity. And even you can even miss out on a secret ending if you don't do exactly what it is I'm going to show you in the order that I show you here. And not just in terms of because you need the affinity between characters, but just because the game expects you to watch these secret endings as well. Right then, okay, so for next up, we can once again have a choice here at this point. So the next choice is we can go and speak to Miracle, who's in her room, and we will get an affinity boost between Edge and Miracle then. However, we don't want to do that one. Instead, we want to head back down to the recreation room here and once again speak to Limmel, and this will boost affinity with Limmel, FaZe and Edge, but also it is a prerequisite for one of the game's secret endings, so this is definitely the one you want to choose. Now you'll find Barkus sitting down after that last private action. We're not going to speak to him for the time being. We're going to head upstairs instead, and we're going to find the room with 2 people in, because that should be FaZe and Limmel. Where are they? Oh, here they are. Okay, so this is going to trigger the next private action for us. By the way, it's important we do this one as well, because it's also a prerequisite for one of the secret endings later on. Right, next up then, you might think that you have to go ahead and speak to Miracle, or speaking to anybody else doesn't actually trigger a private action. She's located in the recreation room. But don't speak to her, okay? There is actually another private action, but it's encountered in a different way. What we're going to do is head into Edge's room, so this is the room with the save point, and we're going to choose to rest for the night. So don't choose rest until arrival, just choose rest. And this is actually going to be what we need to do in order to trigger that secret private action that I just mentioned.
Huh? What are you doing here, Miracle?
You have a minute, Edge? About our route, I was just wondering... Edge?
No! This isn't what it looks like! I didn't do anything!
Good morning. I'm gonna go wash my face.
Edgy's face there, that's just hilarious.
Men!
What did I do?
Okay, so that's the end of the secret private action. Right, so next up then we're going to head towards the battle simulator. I believe that's where Amy has gone to. Yeah, and we can speak to her for the next private action.
Hey, are you still mad at me? If the first officer keeps moping around like this, it's going to affect crew morale. I'm telling you, Miracle just stumbled into my room when she was half asleep. That's all it was, okay?
Whatever.
Whenever she got angry, she always did just let it fester. I guess there's only one way to handle this. Hey, Raimi! Why should only you get to be angry? You're the one who came into my room without asking, you know? You made the decision to come in, you thought something weird was going on, and you decided to be angry about it. You really are childish, you know? You've always been so arbitrary about stuff like that, and you never grew out of it.
Oh, well, forgive me for not growing up. It's not like you ever grew out of being a hothead either.
You're right. Neither of us have changed. So, how about we just cut this out and make up like we always did?
Edge, you still remember our little making up ritual?
Come on, don't embarrass me. How many years do you think it's been? So, are we even now? Friends?
Yeah.
Okay, we're nearly done with all these private actions now, guys, so just keep persevering. It is worth it, trust me. They are, you know, needed. But some of them are quite funny as well, aren't they? So it's not like we're having to suffer by doing these. Right, next up then we're going to speak to the three ladies here. So we're going to have to make a choice here in a moment. So I just had to smack a mosquito thing on the wall there. You probably heard that. Otherwise it'll be sucking my blood later. I didn't actually mean to choose that option, but it doesn't matter because it's an okay one. It's the second best one to choose. It's not going to make a big difference overall. So they look really cute. We'll give you points with both Limmel and Miracle. But if you choose the beautiful option, then you'll get points with all three characters. So you'll also get points with Muriel as well. But if you choose the other option, and that is they can't hold a candle to you, Muriel, then you'll actually lose points with the other two characters. So I wouldn't choose that one. There we have it then, folks. That's all the private actions. Well, all of them out of the choices that we made, and hopefully that's the best set of choices to make. I believe that it is. So what we're going to do now is go ahead and rest until arrival. So make sure you only select this option once you're absolutely positive that you've done all the private actions that you can do. And this will advance the story for us. Okay, I just saved up since we've, done quite a few of those private actions, which I don't particularly want to be repeating anytime soon should anything go wrong. And once we enter the main bridge area of the Kaunas, we'll get the scene that brings us back to Aeos.
Huh? What the hell happened here? Not just the base, but the Eldarian cruiser too. So, this is why communications were cut off? But how? This is impossible!
Where's Captain Grafton? Where's everyone?
They're fine. I'm sure. I'm sure they made it.
Of course. They must be safe.
Definitely. SRF men are as tough as nails. Let's look around. They must be close.
Right.
Forget about it. It's a waste of time.
Muria, a waste? What do you mean?
Exactly what I said.
This won't be easy for you to hear, but I haven't been able to detect any humanoid life signs in the vicinity, apart from our own.
Are you certain?
I've methodically scanned our entire surroundings. I am certain I've missed nothing.
Edge. Why? How did something like this happen? Who could have... Maybe it was those giant bugs.
No, I doubt that's possible. As you're both well aware, the base was constructed using state-of-the-art Eldarian technology. There was even an Eldarian cruiser here. I don't mean to sound arrogant, but... we'd never allow something like those insects to wreak so much destruction.
Phase.
I'm sorry, FaZe. We were only thinking about ourselves. You had friends here too.
It's quite all right. In any case, we have more important things to do now than mourn. Let's take care of those first.
True. Are you okay, Raimi?
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say I'm exactly okay, but I'll be all right.
Ew! What's that sound?
Oh my! That's a very large bird indeed, isn't it? But it's not flapping its wings.
Sarah, that is most definitely not a bird.
It's pitch black, Kay. Kinda like your cloak, FaZe.
Raimi, doesn't it look like...
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. It's actually very similar to our own SRF ships.
But repainting his ship jet black? That's not quite Crow style.
Yeah, it's not the Aquila.
The basic frame is quite similar to the Calnus. However, judging from this sound, it uses an unfamiliar propulsion system. It resembles the Calnus, but it is different.
Could it be? The Phantoms?
Phantoms?
What are those?
I suppose you wouldn't know, nor should you. It's something that's still under investigation on EN2, and it goes without saying. A man who wanders around space forgetting his regular reports to headquarters wouldn't know either? It's a fairly recent development. An unidentified group bent on destruction has been appearing here and there in space.
Bent on... destruction?
Who or what they are, why they operate, all unknowns. They show up on one planet after another, infesting them and annihilating everything, completely and without mercy. Also, it's said they arrive on ominous black ships.
What could that mean?
EN2's forces have begun to try and subjugate them. But no matter how many are defeated, more keep appearing. They come from nowhere, almost as if they were ghosts. That's why we refer to them as Phantoms, just to have something to call them.
Phantoms?
They are unidentified after all. A phantom that looks like an Earth ship, that's not out of the realm of possibility. Besides, wouldn't all the pieces fit together if that ship turned out to be a phantom?
So what you're saying is... they destroyed this base. Earthlings, Eldarians, everyone. All the perfectly innocent people here. Our friends!
It seems to have landed along the southern coast. What shall we do, Mr. Edge?
What do you think? They've already made that decision for us. Let's move, people!
Right, so we've got the story advanced now, and planet Aeos is obviously going to be our next major destination once more. But we're going to actually go back to the planet of Roak, because there's a whole other dungeon, optional dungeon, that we can engage with, and it is worth doing, to tell you the truth. So I'm going to finish off the episode here, guys, but make your way back to Roak, and we'll pick up with this next time. So thanks for stopping by today, guys. I'll see you soon.